Guys, let's talk about hyped books, shall we? These are the books that everyone is talking about, everyone loves, everyone raves about them. Booktubers left, right and centre are doing videos about them, and I have even done a video on a hyped book, so I'm not excluding myself from this mass. I am totally included in this. I've been thinking about it recently, but does anyone ever actually stop to think that is this hyped book really as good as everyone's making it out to be? Personally, I think that everyone's visions on hyped books are slightly clouded. You don't really start from a blank slate as such. You're already looking for the good in the book because of the fact that everyone else loves it. So you think to yourself, if everyone else loves it, I should love this. And if I don't like it, then there must be something really weird with me. And I don't think that it should start that way. I think you should start reading a book from a neutral perspective, reading it as if it wasn't a hype book, reading it as if it was just any old book that you just picked off of your shelf or out of the library. This has definitely happened to myself. Obviously it has happened more recently, but one of the main examples I can think of is Twilight. When it first came out, admittedly I wasn't really as much of a reader as I am now, but when it first came out I thought it was the best thing that had ever been written. I read the first, second and the third books before the film came out, and I saw the film and I thought, oh my god, this is brilliant. I thought that it was one of the best films ever. And then it was only a couple of weeks later that I started to think to myself that the film actually was pretty bad, like seriously awful. And then I started to realise gradually after then that the books were actually quite bad as well. And I've no idea why I actually thought that the books were good in the first place. The writing is really bad and it's just a really stupid plotline. A really bland, undescribed girl falling in love with a really overly described vampire who she would rather die for than be without. What kind of message does that give the audience that it's actually aimed at, which is teenage girls? But anyways, I'm going off on a tangent there. But I really hope you get where I'm coming from or going with this. Do you actually like a hyped book because it's an amazing book? Or do you like the hyped book because everyone else likes it and because you've been dragged along with the flow of the hype? Maybe it's because of this. I know and I can understand why people don't want to do this, but maybe the people that don't like the book just don't want to put a bad review out because they don't like posting bad reviews. I honestly like hearing a variety of opinions. If I absolutely love a book, I'd love to hear an opinion on why somebody absolutely hated a book. And I believe that with the overly hyped books, this isn't really expressed enough. I don't believe that the hate for the books is expressed enough in a more opinionated manner. Yes, you get the people that are like, oh my god, that's really crap, oh my god, how can you like that? But they don't actually express it with an opinion or anything to back it up. But then on the other hand to that, you always have the people that overly hype books and they don't actually have any reasons why they properly like the book in the first place. They're like, oh, it's amazing. It's like, well, why is it amazing? Like, why do you like it in the first place? Is it the writing? Is it the character development? Is it the world building? And sometimes I believe that not a lot of people actually know why they like a book in the first place. And maybe that is because of the fact that it's overhyped and that everyone else likes it. I can honestly say that a few books that I've read last year had been overhyped. I did overrate them on my GOODREADS. I gave a lot of them 5 stars, and when I've been looking back on the books that I've read, I've been thinking about it and thinking those books actually weren't as good as I first thought. Those books are actually quite bland and the character development isn't that great, and I just didn't believe it. I just got caught up in the story of it and didn't actually think in depth about what I thought about the book. But the thing is, would you have picked up that book had it not had a lot of hype? Had only a couple of booktubers even mentioned it in their videos? Would you have actually gone out of your way to pick up this book? Because I know a lot of the time, I'll admit that if everyone's talking about it, I'll go pick it up. But if only a couple of people are talking about it, I might put it on my wish list, but I won't actually go out of my way to pick it up a lot of the time. Sometimes I feel as though I'm reading all of the hyped books because everyone loves them and they're amazing and everything like that, but I'm missing a lot of the really good books that are really underrated and maybe a little obscure, but they're still amazing books. And I just feel as though a lot of people, including myself, are missing out on things. I'm missing out on different genres and different storylines and just different styles of writing just because of the fact that they are sticking to the books that everybody else loves. Do you think there's some kind of pressure involved? Do you think that because of the fact that everyone else is reading it, that you have to read it? Do you think that the fact that everyone else loves it, that you have to love it? I mean, I don't honestly know what everyone else thinks about this. And it's something I've been recently thinking about. I think it's ever since I read Legend, because I feel as though perhaps my vision was slightly clouded due to the fact that everyone else loved it. And I actually got a comment on that video from someone who thought that the book was a little bit too rushed and too short, and it actually got me thinking that, yes, perhaps it was a little bit too rushed, perhaps it was a little bit too short, but did the hype of the actual book cloud my vision to actually make me forget about all those little tiny details that do actually count? But honestly, let me know what you think below. And I think that's all from me, so I will speak to you later. Bye!